Let me take this opportunity to say welcome to our accreditation team for 2021 to CUC Secondary. It's a pleasure having you guys here with us this year. I know that the restrictions in terms of travel are making things being approached from a different perspective this year, but it's still a pleasure to have you guys on this virtual tour of our beautiful school. Welcome, and I trust that you'll enjoy the few minutes we spend together as we explore this beautiful school that is CUC Secondary. So as we walk through our main entrance, we're going to be approaching our guard booth or security booth. Of course, we're on lockdown still in most regards, so that we don't really have much personnel out all the time. So none of the guards are present today, but usually we have 2 guards present on the compound when we have students coming in. And here you can see their station diary, their visitors log. Of course, one of them has their Bible there with them. Alright, and we also would ensure that every visitor who comes in is scanned. So we have our thermal scanners to make sure that their temperature reading is adequate so that they can be welcomed onto the compound. Here's just a glimpse in the station diary. These are our visitors passes, so that when next you come to CUC, you will have to display one of those around your neck. Alright, our visitors log, and this is the schedule that we have for our live classes. We take our walk now to our staff room, and this is one of the entrances to the staff room. This is the entrance that you will usually approach from the road. Alright, and of course you will see the wash station there for entry to the staff room. There were 2 wash stations to the front by the guard booth as well. So this is our staff room, and every member of staff, all our teachers at CUC Secondary, have their own desk and chair where they would usually hang out when they are not in their classes or doing stuff somewhere else. Alright, we're going to the female staff bathroom at this time, or ladies bathroom, and we have 3 stalls, a bathroom, a face basin, and a nice little mirror. The ladies can check themselves out when they are using the bathroom. And we trek our way now to our male bathrooms, just passing one of our shelving units there where the teachers would store stuff. Alright, and we head across to our male bathroom at this time. The male bathroom has 2 stalls and a very uniquely developed urinal, we call it. It's a shower and urinal in one, and of course the face basin there as well, and the mirror for the guys. Alright, so our little kitchenette is integrated into our staff room space. It's not a separate room. We have a fridge, sink, an area for wares, 2 microwaves, a television, and a seating area and there where the teachers can relax if they want to just chill out. Of course, there's a shelving unit across to the side there as well. So this is just a view of the staff room from the other end of the staff room. You see the sanitization station in the staff room there and the notice board. And of course, you would notice our fire extinguishers strategically located throughout the school. And in here, this is the storage room right next to the staff room. So this is one of our storage areas. In here we would house our uniforms for teams, graduation gowns, the computers, laptops are stored in those 2 storage cabinets, projectors, peripherals for computers, and other things that the teachers would need from time to time, first aid stuff and so on, some books and some records as well. Here's our secretary's workstation, our administrative assistant's workstation, and then there's another work area there where teachers sometimes when they need to get stuff loaded in the office that they may want to print, that computer is available for them to use. Here we have on display some of our trophies from various events, and also the trophies that we would distribute to our students who are top achievers at graduation and awards function. This photocopier, some paper, filing cabinets, and so on. Of course, this is the entry to the secretary's office. Alright, so this is just a view entering from the corridor. Here's the principal's office with his fish tank and filing cabinet and so on as well. The refrigerator, little face basin in there. Alright, principal has a little micro aquaponic system in the office where seasoning is grown. This is our business manager's office, and here we have stock of some of our books and some of the supplies that we would usually have for sale. Alright, and of course she has a refrigerator as well, and microwaves and so on. The business manager, Mrs. Paris, was actually in office. So just a view of the outside of the compound. Here is our major aquaculture project. We have tilapia, about 700 tilapia in the pond right now. Alright, and that's one of our business units that we have at the school. Alright, so tilapia red for sale. We also would have taught students in our short courses that we run how to do aquaculture and the aquaponic system. So this is a view of the courtyard from the upstairs corridor. Alright, our nice little green space that we have there. 6 of the 8 storage tanks are housed in this tank farm, and the pump house for the tanks is right next to it. Alright, so we're gonna explore some of the rooms now, or labs. This is our technical drawing lab. Of course, now they use computers, computer aided design. Alright, the electronics lab is right opposite technical drawing lab. Alright, and inside here we have seating area for students for theory, but they will also pack up those chairs when they need to do their practicals. So we'll see some of the circuitry that the students are doing for their SBAs for the CUC level students. Alright, these are just some of the circuit boards that they would have built up for that, and circuit components for the electronics part of it. So it's electronics and electrical installation are the 2 areas that are covered in this particular course, and in the lab that the students would do their work from time to time. Alright, so this is our electronics lab. Alright, here we have our art room, the visual arts room. Alright, just some of the paints that we have on storage here that would be used for demo, but the students supply their bring their supplies, so that they would have their supplies with them when they come out for art classes, in terms of their paints and their brushes and so on. Just some work of some of the students up on display on the wall there. Alright, and here we have some of our building and furniture technology students at work. Alright, they are out to school completing their practical part of their coursework for their SBAs for CUC. Alright, so these are some of our building technology students out at work on this particular day that the recording was being done. We have a couple other students joining, and Mr. Carter, who is the building technology teacher, just supervising them there. So this is the classroom. This is the theory part of the workshop. So they have their theory part, their whiteboard, their computer screens, monitors up for when they are teaching, and then we have the actual workshop area of it, where the tools are, the machinery and the tools are. This is a project from a former class. show installation of a face basin. Alright, so we have some of the materials that have been prepped for the project for this year, and the storage cabinets and storage shelving and so on. Alright, these are some of our chemistry students out for their practicals for their SBAs as well. Alright, in the chemistry lab, in the science lab with their teacher, Mrs. McPherson. Alright, so they are out completing their practicals as well for their SBAs. Of course, all students who are coming out, that's a sun up front there, all students who are coming out are required to observe the safety protocols in terms of being masked and maintaining the required distances and so on. Alright, here we have our visitors washroom, and of course a decision was taken by the board when the COVID reality came that we don't want visitors utilizing the same washroom as our students, so a special bathroom was built for visitors. It's a unisex. And then we have our male washroom here. We're gonna just take a look inside the male washroom. Of course, all of our bathrooms are outfitted with paper towel dispensers, soap dispensers, so that all the users can make sure after they wash their hands to have them dried properly. Alright, so you would have seen the face basins there. Now we have the toilet stalls that the male bathroom has, and proud to see that these washrooms are sanitized on a very regular basis throughout the day when students are in school, and the two urinals for the male students. Alright, these are face basins, and just to show that they are not duds, we'll be just putting on a couple of them so that you would realize that water actually is present in the lines. And because of the storage capacity that we have at the school, we don't have issues in terms of water. Alright, or female bathroom as well. Face basins, as I said, all the bathrooms outfitted with paper towel dispensers and soap dispensers as well. Additionally, the females, we also have a couple of bottles of liquid soap on hand as well for them, the mirrors, and of course the ladies' bathrooms definitely outfitted with their receptacles for their sanitary napkins and so on, so they can dispose of them in the proper way and not create issues in terms of the plumbing. Alright, so the female bathrooms are outfitted with the receptacles, the bins for sanitary napkins. This is one of our agricultural science practical areas. It's a grow box, raised grow box, so you work at standing height in this grow box. There's also a section underneath which we use for plants that thrive well in the dark. So it's a double-decker grow box, so to speak. Of course, because school has been shut down basically now for a year, none of these grow boxes are currently planted. We still have, of course, our fish. This is the sump for the aquaponics project to the back of the school here. So that's part of the aquaponics system, and in the aquaponics system, the fish, the waste from the fishes is circulated to feed the plants, and those plants are usually placed in all of those holes that you have there. We just have a few mint plants just growing now, but usually we would have seasoning celery primarily would be what we grow here, and save as well. Sometimes we grow in these these what we call rafts, right? Floating rafts. This is a pimento plant that's growing there. And of course, these are the tanks. One of them, the black one, houses about 50 tilapia, which basically are the suppliers for the nutrients for those plants that we would normally have there. And the other two blue tanks are the filtration system. All right, so inside of here is where we would have the tanks. I just put some feed in there for them. All right, but they shine away. I don't know if they're running from the blue color. All right, so this is the, as I said, the aquaponics project to the back of the school, where we have that integrated system. Of course, the students were also trained in that, students and teachers. We did a certificate course 2 years ago. The intention was to keep it on rotation, but with the COVID situation, right, this is I just threw some feed for the tilapia out in the big pond out front, so you can see them feeding in a frenzy there right now. Alright, so this is our project. This is the storeroom for the agricultural science department. The tools, we have the feed and so on for the tilapia as well there. Alright, so this is all the storage area for our tools for the agri-science department. That storage room is located under the main staircase going up to the front of the school. So we're now checking up that very said staircase to our to some of our classrooms at the upper floor. So these are upper school classes that are basically housed on the upper floor, and furniture was, well, usually we have 2 students at each of these desks, but because of COVID regulations, we packed down some of the chairs so that we now have them spaced basically 1 student per desk. The remainder of the chairs are stacked to the back. Because of the small number of students who are coming out currently, because the students would just usually come out for their practicals and so on now. Because of the small number of students who are coming out during that time, those classrooms usually probably run at about half capacity right now. Alright, so this is our science lab. So we're just walking through the science lab. We would have seen students in here working before. This is just a visual of the lab without the students present, so that you can have an idea of what the layout of the science lab is. We have shelving with the apparatus and so on that the students would use for the labs. There are some reagents there as well, the ones that are not potent. These ones are usually the diluted version that they would use for the actual experiments and so on. The storage cabinet with the various apparatus, as I mentioned as well. And then we have the stock room, where the preparation of those chemicals for use in the class and in the practicals is done. So the concentrated chemicals would usually be stored here. Alright, and the lab tech is the one in conjunction with the teacher who would ensure that those reagents are prepared for the class. And there's the still that we use for production of our distilled water. Alright, so here's the home economics of food and nutrition. Food, nutrition, and techno and health is what it is now. Alright, so this is the home economics, food nutrition and health lab. Alright, we have basically 3 workstations in the lab. Alright, of course, all of, as I indicated, all of the required spaces are outfitted with fire extinguishers, and we also have fire extinguishers strategically placed along the corridor. Alright, so these are our 3 workstations in the food nutrition and health lab. Of course, the microwave and some other small appliances and so on that we have there. Stoves, one of the stoves, and the sink area, dish rack, and some utensils basically from use at the last lab. Storage cabinets where they have their wares on display, those wares that are used when they are displaying their products for SBAs or just for practicals, and your storage areas with the pots and other articles that are used for preparation, food preparation in the lab. The refrigerator, and again just some. Right, so we have one of our storage drawers as well. Alright, so these are just some of the things that the students will use in the food nutrition and health lab as they do their preparation. Alright, this again is a view of the tank farm, and you would see that pyramid looking contraption. I am calling it a contraption. There's actually, of course, this is just a view of the tank farm and the pump house. Alright, for our water storage, and that is a specially designed grow box. Alright, it's step up, alright, almost like a pyramid, as I said. Because of the COVID situation, those boxes are not being grown right now. So this is just where in the principal's office, as I indicated earlier, this is a small aquaponics system, so the fish would supply the nutrients that these plants grow. It's usually just seasoning growing. I would have lost some plants a couple of weeks ago. Electricity went and the pump system shut down, so by the time I got back in on Monday, plants were dry. So we're walking down now to a couple of the other labs. Alright, this is our computer lab, the engine room for the ICT program. Alright, we have about 35 working systems in the lab, and then of course we have the additional 60 laptops as well that the students will use for anything that requires computers and so on. Classes are also taught in the lab, generally the computer science classes for the upper school students, and then of course sometimes you'll have the lower school students coming in as well when they have practical stuff to do in ICT. Alright, so this is our computer lab. Of course, again, fire extinguisher present, and those fire extinguishers are serviced on a regular basis. So we have our business lab. The business lab was used as our photo studio for graduation, so it's not been repacked. Well, it's not been laid out back as yet how it should be. This is the interactive board or smart board that we have in the business lab. Alright, so we're headed now from the business lab to our language lab. Alright, so this is our language lab. Alright, Spanish is the primary foreign language that we will do here. There is some French done as well on a more personalized basis. Right, so the students who are interested, we would have them come in and register and so on. So this is to the back of the computer lab and the food and nutrition and technology lab, heading across to the small space that is used now as our library. Alright, So this is our school library here. Alright, and then we have our chaplain and vice principal's offices located in this area as well. Right, so we're heading down now to this is where there's a common area for the students here where they can just relax, come play games during the break or lunch period. A couple of wash stations were installed there as well, of course with the requisite safety signage and a nice little encouraging text as well that is placed strategically all around the school. You would notice there are plain surfaces painted onto the tables for draft and chess and so on, so the students will come out and utilize that space during that time for that. Alright, and this is our counselor's room and the sick bay. We're gonna go into the sick bay just to take a view of what is in there. Alright, so we have bed, fan, a recliner, first aid kit, a little table where things can be placed for persons who come into the sick bay, and then of course the sick bay is also outfitted with its own washroom, toilet, of course again the tissue dispensers, the face basin. We also have a wheelchair on the compound as part of our emergency equipment in the event that it is needed. Right, so this is just corridor heading to class, and we're gonna do a more in-depth look at some of our classroom spaces. Alright, in a while. Okay, but this is just a view of the corridor to those classes. As I said, the upper school classes are here, and just gonna walk down the corridor. Here is our wayfinder signage which points out where the various rooms are located across the school, and we have a few of those wayfinder signs strategically placed around the school. Alright, all of our classes are well labeled, and we use names for our classes. And the Form 1s, they are named after stars. Form 2s are named after birds. The Form 3s are named after precious gems. The Form 4s are named after Bible characters. And the Form 5s are named after positive traits, positive qualities that we want our students to leave the school with. So the progression is, you come in, we want you to aim for the stars. We know that things get challenging at times, so when they get to Form 2, we want to remind them that as birds you can rise above whatever challenging situations there are because you have the ability to fly. In Form 3, we want them to be polished after the similitude of a palace, so that they can be those precious gems that God wants them to be. The Bible characters that were chosen have some character traits that we want our students to emulate, and of course, as I said, by the time they get to Form 5, we give them 3 character traits that we would like them to leave with as a part of their psyche as students at CUC Secondary School. Alright, so here again is just another view of the grow box area on the outside of the school. This was as I indicated, it's not planted right now because of the fact that we're on lockdown, right? But we would have planted and sold a number of crops from those grow boxes already. Alright, so these are all our school classrooms, and I'm just gonna step into a couple of them. Right, of course the furniture is packed away again because we've been on lockdown basically for a year. So for maintenance, it's easier to keep them packed that way. For cleaning of the rooms, because we still maintain a proper cleaning regime of the school, in spite of the fact that we are on lockdown. Alright, so this is one of the Form 3 classes. Form 2, sorry, one of the Form 2 classes, Form 2C. Alright, copper rumped hummingbird. Alright, that's the C of the birds. Alright, we have blue and yellow mako, and we have Amazon kingfisher as the other birds. And these murals on the walls, we saw one earlier upstairs, have a text, and you know, that would just remind the students of some of the things that we want them to leave here with. Alright, this one's the one that talked about being polished after the similitude of a palace. And we have Jesus just patting the shoulder of a couple of our students there in this school. Alright, the mural upstairs basically gives them some career options that they can leave the school with. Alright, the cafeteria is located on the right side there, and we're just gonna take a view of the front of the cafeteria, because of course all of those areas are currently closed as well. They open during the weekends when we have a few students around, and they're also open for sales of uniforms and books and so on. Alright, some of the same books and things that we saw earlier in the business manager's office, we sell through the cafeteria as a way of earning revenue for the school. Alright, the school's uniforms are also sold through the cafeteria, so that we don't have so that fund returns to the school for use by, this is the Courtyard area, and our lower schools, the rest of our lower school classes, the Form 1 classrooms are here. Of course, you would recognize that fire extinguishers and bins are strategically placed throughout the school as well, and we actually have a reduced number of the bins out right now because there's not many students coming out, so we don't want to have 12 bins with one piece of paper or one little piece of trash in each of them. So we've reduced the number of bins on the compound. This is the step coming down the corridor, coming down the courtyard, right into the schoolyard. And this is one of our Form 1 classrooms, one Betelgeuse. Alright, so the Form 1 stars names are Arcturus, Betelgeuse, and Capella. Right, three of the brightest stars in the sky. Right, those classes are named after their notice board, the whiteboard. Just a little art display to the front there made out of wrought iron. And then we have the boards to the back of the class with the students' names and the houses that they belong to, and notice board, and a little board that just has some devotional, inspirational thoughts, inspirational nuggets on them. Alright, so that the students can come by and take a little read. Right, they clip on their thoughts and so on that board. And this is just walking back now to in the vicinity of the washroom where the main trough, drinking trough is, and of course it's a sanitization point as well, so requisite signage is there to encourage the students to make sure that they sanitize regularly. Alright, that they sanitize regularly. So that basically is the CUC secondary compound, and I just want to say thanks. These are the two wash stations out front. Thanks to you guys for stopping by. The music you are hearing in the background is the music of one of our teachers at the school, Ms. Chanel Spencer. Thank you very much for visiting CUC Secondary today. Just that you enjoy the rest of your accreditation visit. Bye.
Sunset lights the skies on fire. The lovely